Can you imagine a scenario like this in track where, say, you're in like the prelim round where, it is in your best interest to not win a race? Like, whether you're like in the first round or second round where, not winning, getting the auto spot allows you to like maybe dodge Timothy Chariot in the semis
Yeah.
or the 1500 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, they had to run a play because there was 4 seconds on the play clock when they
Yeah.
called the timeout. So they were gonna have to snap it again, and I think the Raiders, if they won, they would have played the Chiefs, and they got blown out by them twice. So I think they were gonna kick it regardless. It just depended how much time was on the clock. I thought not of a prelim. I thought of Tambiri and Barshim from the Olympics agreeing to tie because they both got the gold. Whereas if they went to a jump off, well, obviously one of them is going to get the gold, but then the other person is going to get silver. Now, silver is still pretty good consolation. So I don't know if it's perfectly analogous to missing the playoffs, but they were able to talk and collaborate. There's that famous clip of them sitting there talking, and then Barshim asks, "Can we have two?" And the official says yes, and then they're like, "All right, let's just call it." I think if the Raiders and Chargers could have met in the beginning of overtime, talked at midfield, maybe get Qatar and Italy on the phone too and say, "Hey, you guys worked out a pretty high profile tie. That worked out for both of you. You're both celebrating. Both your nations are happy. Italy, obviously, wins a bunch of gold medals that they're not supposed to. How did you guys work the tie out?" But instead, I think it was just the ultimate game theory situation. And it reminded me too of 2012, Allison Felix, Jenna Batarmo tie. And that was sort of a weird setup because if I'm remembering correctly, because remember, they didn't have a tie breaking procedure. So this event happened at the beginning of the meet and it stretched the whole length of the meet because they're trying to figure out the tie breaking scenario. And I think what ended up happening was the tiebreaker scenario that they devised was it's either runoff or coin flip. If one person says runoff and the other person says runoff, obviously they run off. If neither want to run off, you do a coin flip. But if one person says runoff and the other person says coin flip, then the person who wants to run off just like goes automatically. So obviously you're incentivized to say runoff in that point because you don't want to give up your spot. Now, Tarmo ended up opting not to run, and then Felix got on the team. But I think that's sort of what was happening here. One side wasn't going to unilaterally stand down without like a clear agreement from the other side that they were also going to go. Now, Felix and Tarmo, only one could go. So it's a little bit different. In this scenario, both can go, both could go.
The more and more I think about it, you bringing up Barshim and Tambiri. Why didn't Barshim say, no, I'm going to win? I'm the best high jumper in the world, clearly, over the past 5 or 7 years. Who cares if I get second? I'm going to win. Like, why didn't one? Because you could clearly tell Tambiri was a lot more excited about shared gold than Barshim. Barshim was like, oh, yeah, it's cool. But, like, why didn't Barshim say no?
I think
He
the
already
reason
has gold.
Tambiri's right. Well, Tambiri's excited. His whole journey, breaking his leg, that was a
Yeah.
monumental comeback for him. I think he agrees to do it because either way he gets gold. It's not as if, hey, we're going to give out 2 silvers or you can have 1 gold. It's not like you're going to get a half a gold medal and your friend from Italy is going to get the other half of the gold medal. You still get a gold medal either way. The
Yeah,
only
but
thing, and you're still the Olympic champion. You're still listed as
yeah,
an Olympic
but
champion.
are you?
So the only, and this is where it intersects with Raiders and Chargers, which is not the direction I thought this pod would open with, but let's just do it. Is you could both call yourself playoff teams. You could both call yourself playoff teams. Doesn't matter how you get there. You're both in the playoffs. It would have been different if Barshim had to or Tambiri had to settle for less in order to stop the competition. But they both got what they ultimately came there to do, which was get a gold medal. You cannot get a better medal than that.
Do you think, though, there's an asterisk on that high jump gold medal?
No.
I think there is. Because
No,
Gold
they
medals
both
should be
jumped
given
high
to
enough to
one
win.
person, not two. So it's kind of
We've
like,
been down
yeah,
this
I had to share this one.
we've been down this road before. It's with the high jump and with the pole vault, it's tough. Long jump, shot put, triple, go back to your next best mark. But if there was someone brought this up, if there was a dead heat in the marathon somehow, are you going to make them run it again? Of course not. Every single competition needs their own tie-breaking rules. So
Well, it's
they didn't want
impossible to
any
have a
count
dead
back.
heat. It's literally impossible for the
You
one to be a tie in any race based on law of science and physics and
well, tell that to
geometry.
Felix and Tarmo in 2012.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, I
that's
read
because
that take, but the head timer couldn't declare a winner. So I know what you're saying. You can keep going back to the next decimal point and go farther and farther back and can find it. But basically, I mean, there's been ties in running event hundreds
yeah,
before for medals.
Trayvon Bromell,
Brom
Andre DeGrasse
and
tied for
yeah,
third.
exactly. Exactly, and it's happened before. So do you do count back? And I mean, they were already tied on count back, so then you do a jump off and keep going. The option was there for them. I mean, it's written in the rules ahead of time. Listen, track has enough rules that they make up like halfway through a competition. I'm willing to give them credit when they come up with the rule ahead of time and stick with it. And it was written down. So I don't think it counts for less. I think it created a cool moment. And I think both guys moving forward, you're just going to say, oh, they were the Olympic champion that year. I don't think the medal is lessened for either of them because they have to share it. I think it actually made it more memorable for them.
It made it more memorable for like the Twitter moment and like the
Yeah.
people to be like, ooh,
And for them,
sportsmanship. But I think at the end of the day, they're true competitors. They're kind of like, I wish I was the only one with this gold. I know there's another guy
maybe, maybe
across
deep
the
down.
in another country who's also acting like they're gold medalists, and doesn't sit well with me. You know, that's how I would feel.
All right, let's move on. New topic. Actually, not a new topic. We're still opening the show here. That was the longest open we've ever had to the show. We got a lot of cool content coming out this week. Some say this is the biggest week in